because I got the green.
Hello, and welcome to Making Sense of It. I am Mona Duncan, and our speaker today is Dave Hancock. And Dave has been a friend with Dr. William Glasser for years, and he was part of the working in the quality schools. So Dave is going to he's here live. He's just not visible for us to see. So I'm going to share the screen with a picture of him as he begins to talk and share with us. So, Dave, we're ready when you are.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Happy, healthy, peaceful Thanksgiving to everyone. And Dave Hancock, first-year baby boomer, 1946. And then Dr. Glasser, as an alumni of Cleveland Heights High School, and I was a teacher in a quality school, Dr. Glasser's alma mater from 1968 to 2003. I would like to begin with are you, am I, a quality school teacher in a quality school who uses choice theory in the classroom where every student can succeed? Now, there's 4 books for everyone to read. Do I consider how my behavior affects student behavior? Our personality, attitude, temperament, and dispositions. Do my behaviors contribute to any behavioral disciplinary problems? Do my behaviors maximize the time students spend on learning? Do I deal with non-disciplined behavior problems after the rest of the class is involved in the learning activities? Do I use the caring habits, encouragement, etc., 6 of them, and avoid the lethal habits of criticizing, nagging, blaming, and complaining? Do I provide opportunities for students to feel significant, competent, and powerful, and to have a sense of virtue? I had that in biology and health and science, and I was very fortunate to have 12 to 18 students, myself and several student teachers over the years, and field experiences students from John Carroll University and University Heights. Is the behavior a result of a mismatch between the student's cognitive developmental level, and instructional goals, tasks, and methods? Is the behavior or misbehavior a result of striving to meet the faulty goals of attention, power, revenge, and inadequacy? Am I trying not to personalize students' misbehaviors? Do I use the 5 components of authentic instruction? Again, Dr. Glasser's useful classwork. I never assigned homework. It was classwork. Homework was clean your room, do the dishes, cut the grass, etc. Or schoolwork at home. Do I use cooperative learning activities that contain all 3 essential elements of cooperative learning? Do I teach in ways that allow students to demonstrate their knowledge using all 8 types of human intelligence? Now there's 10 Howard Gardner's multiple intelligences. My nature study class, I was glad Dr. Gardner added the naturalist. I have a couple former students, one at the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. Do I differentiate instruction to meet student needs? Do I use and do I make my room physically comfortable by considering lighting, ventilation, and noise reduction? There are many schools today are in 75 to 100-year-old condition. They're called Saddam spider holes. It's very sad. High temperatures in the spring, summer, low temperatures in the winter, etc. Lighting. heating and cooling? Do I design seating arrangements to accommodate the various learning activities? It's not assembly line factory model learning like it used to be a century ago. That was most of my time. K to 12, basically a row of desks, an aisle, a teacher, front of classroom lecturing, except for the activity classes, industrial arts and science classes, and art and music. Do I use cooperative learning activities and teach social skills to my students in order to create group norms that will promote pro-social behavior and engagement in learning activities, small groups? Always had a lab partner, 2 or 3 students, microscopes, etc. And again, science and outdoor education, nature study are a lot easier to, in music and art, to do that. Do I establish positive relationships with students? That's the number one, I think, and Dr. Glasser also. Do I monitor my verbal interventions or ineffective communication patterns? Do I employ verbal interventions in a hierarchical manner, especially humor? And I'll give a couple examples of how important humor is in kind of histrionic behavior. Do I build positive relationship with students who exhibit chronic behavior problems before a conference or calling home mom and dad or school counselor, school psychologist intervention in a group conference? Do I talk privately with students who exhibit chronically disruptive behavior? Yes. Am I positive? Am I negative? Do I communicate an expectation for improvement? A quiz or a test, usually not memory. You got 5 out of 10 on genetic problems. And I go, well, let's take this quiz over again tomorrow. You can study, read, review. And then they've got 9 out of 10 the next day. You can use your notes, etc., or explain orally. I had a lot of oral quizzes. Some students run away from me. I have a few questions. And they got 9 out of 10. Well, I go, well, you have 9 out of 10 then. What? Oh, it's not, no, 9 plus 5, 13 divided by 20. No, 9 out of 10. Do I attempt to obtain the student's commitment to improve behavior? Do I record the conference and obtain the student's signature? I had some contracts signed. Do I ensure the student understood, agreed to, and signed the contract? Do I sign the contract? Well, Mr. Hancock, you're not calling home, are you? No, I'm not. Do I, the student, and the student's parents get copies? Yes. Do I include the student from the classroom, or do I exclude the student from the classroom and require a written statement to better behavior before allowing the student to return to class? So-called in-school suspension, in-school detention, isolation, assignments to the ISD room. Do I provide many opportunities for the student to be successful in the classroom? Does the behavior warrant outside consultation? Do I consult with a counselor or an administrator about the chronically misbehaving student? Well, it depends. We can always make this not a threat, say, what do I need to do to help you? How did I, oh, Mr. Hancock, nothing, that's fine. Do I initiate contacts with parents before problems begin? Yes, whenever I called home back in those days, is Mr. Jones there, Mrs. Jones? And they always say, oh, what? I called home for positive reinforcement. Joe or Jane just did an excellent job today. They played teacher, and that's one thing that I had my students do a lot. You play teacher. That really helps. Has the consultative team decided that the student needs a change of schedule. Many times, yes, from Mr. Jones, Mrs. Smith, to Mr. Hancock's class. Or the teacher should be removed from class or school for a period of time, to be tested for learning, emotional, and physical difficulties, should be referred to outside specialists. Do I employ the behaviors that allow me to work positively with parents and gain their support and cooperation? Does the student show any behaviors or signs that may be symptomatic of other serious problems? Like ADHD, that's a myth. Was invented for Adderall, Ritalin, or Concertia, and there's a lot of proof to that. I have adult ADHD, kid about, because they're creative, innovative. They're just not silent all the time. Has the student undergone changes in physical appearance, activity level, personality, achievement states, health, or physical abilities or socialization? Do I protect student rights? It's kind of a checklist that I would go over. I read Dr. Glasser's Schools Without Failure in 1969, the first book I read out of college. And I read The Quality School Teacher, for 20 years. That was my summer reading. Therefore, if we were to do this, there's a couple quotes. Now, the Quality School Teacher, companion volume to The Quality School with Dr. Glasser. And with that, kind of explains everything all the questions that I've asked the Quality School. Dr. Glasser also said, we learn 10% of what we read for the first time. Maybe reread a couple of times a study, maybe 20, 30%. Now we learn 20% of what we hear, 30% of what we see, 50% of what we both see and hear, 70% of what is discussed with others, 80% of what we experience personally, and 95% of what we teach to someone else. And Richard Carlson, in his books, about 20 of them, Don't Sweat the Small Stuff, he gave 100 quick editorials on Don't Sweat the Small Stuff for teachers, and did mention Dr. Glasser in a couple of those editorials. And another thing, Haim Ginott, Dr. Haim Ginott, Ginott, very similar to Dr. Glasser. And he said, the philosophy of this book is best summed up in the following words written by the author as a young teacher, Dr. Haim Ginott. Quote, I have come to the frightening conclusion. I am a decisive element in the classroom. It's my personal approach that creates the climate. It is my daily mood that makes the weather. As a teacher, I possess tremendous power to make a child's life miserable or joyous. I can be a tool of torture or an instrument of inspiration. I can humiliate or humor, hurt or heal. In all situations, it is my response that decides whether a crisis will be escalated or de-escalated, and a child humanized or dehumanized. And then at the back of his book, he has a book, Teacher and Child, and Parent and Child. On the first day of this new school year, all the teachers in one private school received the following note from their principal. Not with teachers with guns, armed teachers with the resources they need to do their jobs. Obviously, salary, benefits, small class sizes. Dear colleagues, dear teacher, I am a survivor of a concentration camp. My eyes saw what no man or woman should witness. Gas chambers built by learned engineers. Children poisoned by educated physicians. Even Pliny the Elder, back in 1000 BC, said a doctor kind of has impunity no matter what he or she does. Children poisoned by educated physicians. Infants killed by trained nurses. Not many Florence Nightingales, I imagine. Women and babies shot and burned by high school and college graduates. So I'm suspicious of education. Like Mark Twain said, don't let schooling interfere with your education. My request is, help your students become human. Your efforts must never produce learned monsters, skilled psychopaths, educated Eichmanns. Reading, writing, arithmetic are important, only if they serve to make our children more humane. I encourage to read Time Gano's book, also Teacher and Child. In the Bizarro cartoon I use a lot way back when, here's a student interviewing with an admissions officer at a college, university. Said, hey, Dave, your college application is very impressive. High school valedictorian, student council president, captain of every sport your school offered, 4 undefeated seasons in every sport, prom king, voted most likely to succeed, and most popular, perfect attendance, all A's. That is the advantages of the homeschooled. Therefore, as Miriam Wright Edelman said, you can get all A's and still flunk life. The humor aspect obviously is very important. Histrionic behavior, all my classes, I learned that in college from a Shakespeare class, theater and drama class on humor, and I had a couple teachers, very funny. Even a bad teacher had an algebra in 9th grade. I was misplaced. We had tracks 1, 2, and 3. I was in track 2, misplaced. I failed algebra. Did not succeed in algebra. On my report card, I had an F. So then they changed my class to general math and got all A's. No calculators, etc. Everything on pen, pencil, paper. I've had students with algebra, algebra 2, calculus, in chemistry, in biology class, just basic decimals, fractions. They need a calculator. They can't do it. The mental math on paper, which is sad. Therefore, we have a math basic proficiency test that we give. And I taught them the math that they needed to learn in science. Mr. Hancock, this is a science class, not math. I go, ours math and science. I think Einstein failed math also, algebra also. So therefore, I think that could be the basics of what Dr. Glasser, Quality School, and answering all those questions, yes or no. You know, if you get, I don't know, 80% or better yeses, well, I think we're a quality school teacher. But again, improvement is the important thing. And my first year of teaching, 1969, I kind of learned how to do that going along the way, because I would read, and I'm finding that well, children read more than adults. I think college graduates don't even read a book or two a year. So the quality school, choice theory in the classroom, quality school teacher, and every student can succeed. That's a kind of is a compendium of all Dr. Glasser's principles and concepts. Factory model, assembly line learning, no. External control, psychology. Again, the psychology of the world, and it appears that's becoming more prevalent. But we have to be role models and show the Dr. Glasser way. Okay, would that be all right?
Okay, Dave. Wonderful.
Thank
Very
you.
thought-provoking. Made some good
Thank
comments.
you.
So we'll go ahead and close the taping down, and those that are here live can share some thoughts. So thanks for being here. And that, like I said, was the question and answering to help you to self-evaluate. So many blessings to all.
And happy, healthy, peaceful Thanksgiving to everyone.